I'm just gonna ask so that still people know that they can come in, but I don't want to get lost. All right. Well, should I introduce myself? I am Ka-Wai, and I'm excited to share with you guys about AI technology and string education. And I teach at Utah Tech University. I teach cello and chamber music there. Part of my presentation will talk about my research project. I got an NSF grant actually, collaborate with five professors from Purdue University in Indiana, and including engineering, computer, and design professors to work how AI being used. But I want to start off from the very beginning. First of all, to check with you guys, what do you know? What kind of things AI have been being used in music that you know of? Just overall, use.
Well, I've heard of composition creators, like to imitate the style of various composers. Tell the computer, write a piece of music in the style of Beethoven, and it will put things together more or less musically.
Right. Good. Composing music. Anything?
They've been used to analyze your playing as like a practice round, right?
Yes. So that is something I will also, actually you can even try out. You have I think some of you have your instrument with you. You're welcome to try out some apps that pre-existing apps that we already have on using AI to analyze your playing so that for education purposes. Well, first of all, you're right, so composing music. So this is a piece of music. I wasn't able to connect to the sound system and the speaker. It sounds really rough, so I'm using my own computer. If you can't hear it, let me know. All right. So that is entirely composed by AI. Well, copy from different sources and stuff put together. So making music, that's, sorry. Actually, we also have, how many of you use Spotify, Apple Music, and even YouTube, and a lot of those music recommendations, like, when you listen to, a Taylor Swift song, and then next time you go to, they will pick another one for you, or you listen to certain soloists, practicing viola, concerto, or something, and then it will appear again. So a lot of automatic recommendations come from the AI technology use. Of course, we also have recording technology, automatically tuning and pitch correction. So that's huge. Thinking about people working in the sound industry, sound engineer for recording, noise reduction. Zoom is one of the examples. They always do too much noise reduction, maybe because they're designed for speeches rather than music. But there's certainly things that have been being used. And the main questions today that I bring in this presentation is how we use AI in string performance and education. By the way, this image is also AI generated, as you can see. It's pretty real. So there are apps that already existed that will help kind of educations. Like this is called Violi app. Again, I apologize. I'm using my computer sound. I wasn't able to hook that. Just a little sample. So, so far you saw some of the use, like a tick, or when you play in tune or not in tune, and it's red. And the great thing about these, you can actually share with your friends. So okay, I did the audition, so I practice it, and you share with your teacher or somebody who may be using it. So violi, whatever you call it.
So would that like grade a playing test on its own?
Yes, that's one of smart music. I don't know how many of you use smart music before.
I have some, but I don't know.
Now, I mean, so smart music is one of the software like you know, we use it in the classroom a lot. Like students record their playing and then grade it by AI. But so these are some of the, and then there's a musicians, kind of similar. This is more a little bit of game, like playing game, you know, guitar game, stuff like that.
I'm enjoying how it sounds too much. I'm getting distracted and not playing the next note.
He's talked too much, so I'm gonna skip. There's another app called Cello Coach, kind of similar. Real-time feedback on intonation and scale practice. Adjustable tuning, progress, tracking. The good thing about that is they could track, like you can, you know, did the same session and open it just like you play video games. You play that game and then you come back. Last time you missed certain notes. This time you do it again and see if you can get better. Let's see if there's a little demo here. There's a little quick demo here. Yeah, so it's very...
When you have completed, if you have jumped up a level and the app notices that you are playing at a quite high level, then it will ask you if you want to update. It's updating me to the expert level. Let's see if I can maintain that. And always positive reinforcement. You can either try a new session or simply saying, I can do better. Well, I think I'm pretty good on that one.
Okay, so it's just, yeah, you get a different level. Okay, this app is really useful. It's called Mypianist app. So, you should all, if you're string players, you know, because we're in the same conference, everybody's string players. Even if you are, particularly because they have violin, viola, cello, bass, they all have a pretty good library of different pieces. So basically, you have a pianist to play with you. And the AI will adjust to the tempo that you play. I actually have that app. So you know we can try it later. I think there will be time. But this is an example. For example, this is a friend of mine, Dr. Yun from Purdue University. She recorded this Salut d'amour. So you hear that she slowed down or speed up in the middle, and then the AI followed her. So this is a recording. So let's see if we can play here. I don't know if you hear it, there's a tiny transition. So she slowed down, the AI was a little too fast, and then eventually it follows her. And then the other way around, when she tried to speed back up, the AI was a little behind.
So you could use that to perform with.
So this you can, mostly practice, you know, but you can, I mean, I suspect, you know, and that's part of actually bring us to the part that in my research that we want to do. So this is a very helpful app. And there's one more app I'm going to show you. It's called Cadenza app. And the Cadenza app is designed by a graduate from Indiana University. And they will include orchestral score. So that means you can play concertos with the whole orchestra, and then they will adjust tempo according to your playing. But I want to keep progressing to a different part, and then we'll come back to the apps that we can try. So let's look at this little slide here. Tell me what you see here. Oh, I'm using my own sound, but it's okay. Okay, whoops.
Can I try something?
You can try
I wanna
something.
mess things up.
Did you like that? Oh, yes, thank you. So, what's going on there? Anybody can tell me? New music?
In the stress of time, or stressed out.
Stressed out, yes, somebody's stressed out. Did you know that 1/3 of the musicians claim that they are part-time, some sort of part-time, and which means that they are doing multiple jobs. They are doing different things. They wanted to play the pit of the orchestra. They're teaching. They may be trying to organize, playing orchestra and find a tour or just playing chamber music here and there. It's a lot of new music to learn, and often there's not enough time to practice. And how can we make practice more efficient? That's one thing. All right, the picture in the middle. There's some fire going on there. What's going on there? Injury. Yeah. So I don't know how many of you experienced any kind, that you playing related injury. According to a study, like 76% or like around that very, very large percentage of full-time musicians that they interviewed has some sort of injury related to playing in their lifetime career. So some of them see doctors, some of them don't, but it's a thing. How can we practice right? How can we perform? Again, efficiency. Are we overplaying or something? And lastly, on the right-hand side, or your right-hand side, what do you see there?
Somebody's not there.
Somebody is missing. Yeah. So a lot of bands or quartet or trios or chamber groups, quite often, I don't know, you probably experienced that, like the whole everybody's there and then the cellist didn't show up, and what do? Right? So, or if you are one of those touring groups, you only have 1 week of rehearsal and then perform. I think maybe that, like you might have done that like more like jazz combo, like you tour to that place, but you have never met those people. They don't live where you live, so you have to have, you practice everything. Or you live in a rural area. You don't have people to play chamber music with you, so what do? So that is something related to my research. So the 5 professors from Purdue University and as one of them is actually a cellist as well, Dr. Yoon, that some of you met in the cello festival down in St. George in September. So we decided to work on 2 apps, and this is not commercial apps; it's just for research. One of them is Evaluator, and then the other one is called Companion. So the first app that we are working on is to aim at improving individual practice and performance. So basically using AI, to analyze the sounds or that the musician compared to the digitized music score, and then to see what's going on there, intonation, rhythm, dynamics, and everything like that. This has been already kind of done in different apps, but then we are also working on computer vision, which is actually to detect the visual part of it, the video, which is much harder. So in fact, we have been, as part of the research, we actually have been inputting wrong postures so that the computer learns what is wrong And then they can obviously see what's right as well.
I wondered why you wanted all those pictures of me playing. I'm like, I'll send you anything you want. Now I get it.
Well, it's actually hard sometimes to think the other way, think out of the box. So for the evaluator, this is the first one. And basically, there's the audio part and the video part, so as you can tell. And so you play, and then knowing where the tempo and the downbeat, estimation, and then determine whether you are actually playing right rhythm or not. And then the pitch recognition obviously is another thing. And then the video, body pose detection, and then also the hand and arm detection. So we are starting just focusing on strings right now. In fact, we actually started focusing on cello right now, since two of our researchers are cellists. So this is basically what, how this thing works. Basically, you have the sheet music converted to music XML file, and then the evaluator, which is the app, will process the score information, and then on the other end, the audio input is from the players. They use the phone, camera, and microphone, and then you play, and then you locate the track's instrument body, and then on the other hand, you have this pose information inputted to the correction model, and then this part is the audio part that is seeing any correction need to be made. So that's how it looks like. That's what we hope for. This is still developing the technology, and then this is what the performers will see, kind of. So basically, you can see dynamics, right? Or it's supposed to be fortissimo here, or slower here, or accents. These notes are not correct. Things like that. So that is what we're trying to do. So this is with Purdue University. So my role is just based. So this is it's a Purdue University project, and I'm kind of like a sub award, kind of helping them. So mostly I'm inputting ideas for them. I'm not the technology person, so, but their students, the engineering students, computer students have been working on. So, for example, this is one thing that they, this is very simple stuff. So somebody's going to play. So that's just basically what they were detect. This is in tune, kind of like yellow is kind of like maybe slightly off, a little sharp. Now let's see if we play a wrong note. Let's see again. Oop. Is it? Sorry. Hello. That's why we need to talk about technology, right? Sometimes when you need them, they don't show up. Let me try that again. Sorry. And then I'll show you some website.
Can I adjust
Today.
something actually as you're
Yeah,
to get
please
your
do.
sound? I think if we go to that sound panel. Yeah, select restroom.
Yeah, I tried that. It's a little distorted sound, but we can try. Let me see. Slideshow. There we are. Oh, somehow this doesn't load the wrong note part. Sorry. I'll play you the correct. Oh, this is it. Yeah, it just speed up. I don't know what it does. Then there's no sound.
I don't know if it's worth it. I've had that once before in my classroom where videos were doing that, and I just had to restart my computer. I don't know if it's worth that.
No, I only have a few examples
Okay.
with the sound.
Yeah. I was-
There's a little bit. I think my computer sound is slightly better than yeah.
Sure.
It's a little distorted, so it's okay. I'll change it. But thank you. Okay. Let's hear this. So you play the wrong note there. So let's go back to yeah. So it will kind of detect that it's like that. And then we are still working on the technology. Like this is my friend, Dr. Yun right there. So we don't have the technology yet. So this may take a year and stuff. So that's why we have to do the grants and try to work on it. But what we're trying to do is to kind of detect the AI. We're able to see where your hands are working on. In fact, the Purdue students were asking me like, what are some common problem people with their bowing issue or stuff like that. So we kind of work on that, and based on that, want to teach the computer, how to detect anything on that end. So, and then if you're interested, these are some of the app or technology we're using, the YOLO, VHLNet, and Media Pipe, some of the stuff that actually very helpful for athletic stuff, like how to analyze it, and then work with how cello, or eventually all the string instruments. You can see the number there, like you can actually feel the computer eventually see how that works. So with your good bow hole, I don't know how that makes sense. The number 3 is going this way, and then number 5 is going to work. But anyway, so that's one of the two apps. The second app is fantastic that we're working on. It's called Companion. So basically, you play the part of the one or several instruments to replace the absent musicians. So kind of basically what the other app I was talking to you about, the Mypianist app, and then the Cadenza app. Cadenza app will be the orchestral accompaniment that can adjust tempo. We can try it in a minute. So basically, the AI will match your tempo, and then hopefully the style of the human musicians. That will be the hardest part, style. But it also will respond to real-time verbal instruction, which I think is definitely doable. You talk to your Siri or Alexa, just start from measure 6, slower. So that's what's being done. We'll analyze it if you look at that. Again, you have the recorded audio of the accompaniments first, and then you have the microphone input from the musicians, and then you go through the different process. And this part is the one that the command. You ask the AI what to do, and then that one is huge. That's the beat detection fret. So knowing where your downbeat is, so that they can kind of manage you. We play a little bit of the Mypianist app. You can see the AI have to catch you. It's not like it automatically catch you, but it takes a pattern, and then eventually future work attacks sharper fret, improve dynamic control for the transition and articulation. So even knowing your articulation to be able to match the performer. So basically, the purpose of the research is we're looking at how we can have measurable benefits to professional musician practice and performance. And that's exactly one of the most important thing if you want to get a NSF grants. They want to make sure that science part of things, like how can you actually help people with productivity or health or society's success. What factors would affect future musicians' acceptance of AI technology in their work? And that will bring us to some discussion. I think we should talk about it actually today, maybe even debate about it. Some of the stuff that we are covering: computer vision, natural language processing, audio analysis, transformer. Oh yeah, this is what we're going to do next in our study. So I'm working on the technology. When it is done, you guys could look at the paper at the back. We'll need your help. So we're going to have you user study. So like maybe you're going to practice, some of you are going to practice with the app every day. And some of you practice with the app every other day, and the other day you don't practice with the app. And then some of you, of course, don't practice with the app. And then we'll compare how much productivity you get, or do you like it, or maybe we'll have a professional practice using it, and then we'll have beginners using it at different levels. And we will pay. So we have the grants, so we'll pay people like
$100,000 to practice every day.
Is this something we could give like a serious student to be involved in? Or?
Exactly.
Okay.
Although I have to look into that, because we may be focusing on adults first.
Okay.
Because minors, there's a little complication.
Oh yeah.
Because human subjects, when you do research, so. But anyway, that's on our.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, would this be something that like adult students could also do?
Yes.
Like, not adults.
Yes, anybody that is not mine.
Okay.
So this is the team that we put together right now. And Dr. Yun, what you already saw her, is another cellist, and myself. And then her husband actually is it's right there. Yongxi is the electrical computer engineering. He's the big, like he's contribute a lot. His students working on that. But eventually we have the graphics, because if you design an app, you need to have like display, which button to click on, what pictures to show. So some of the pictures you saw also is designed by her student. And then we also have somebody from management. He's working on the data. So once we collect the user studies and compare and stuff. So that's our team. And I'm also getting students to help, or getting a consultant on that. So the impact obviously is to see, well, string students and musicians can improve their skills of efficiency, and possibly a bigger instrumental learning community. It would be huge if you think about chamber music. Those who live in rural area don't have access to the resource, or normally we have to travel many hours to do a rehearsal with somebody. You can actually work, or even professional. If you're on the band, and you can actually practice knowing the other people's part already, and then when you actually meet in the concert week, it could be a huge advantage of doing that. And then of course we will talk about debate on that, whether like some people were like, oh, okay, is AI going to replace teachers? And that we can go to that. But first of all, any quick questions here?
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I came in a little late, so maybe this is a dumb question, but for the
Violi, yeah.
Does it grade your intonation already? Does that app do that already? Grade your intonation?
Intonation and rhythm. But I think all these apps, a lot of these apps, they have, it's kind of like a game, like you click on the exercise, you're doing certain things.
Oh.
But we are, what we are trying to do, we actually enter the score, like Mendelssohn Concerto, or like Suzuki book. I mean, that will have, obviously, copyright and everything, and we have to work on that if we do. That we actually work on specific music. But some of these have. But the Mypianist app and Cadenza app, those two apps, they do have a lot of the classical music that we got. Yeah.
So, what is your timeline on the development process?
Yeah. So the grant that we got is for 3 years. So we just started last school year. This is our second year top. But it looks like we can probably extend it. So it may be 4 years ending up because the technology is a little slow. I actually, if you're curious, the team have been working on certain things right now. Okay, so like the evaluator, so they meet every week, these students. So they talk about, certain things they are working on. And not everything you need to worry, but they're just working on bow angle right now, actually. Yeah, that's a huge thing. Different camera angle, ideally use stuff. And individual tasks for this week, they kind of divide test bow method. So these are Purdue University students putting things together. So we hope that within a year we want to have some kind of basic stuff. Not a full version of the app, but at least some part of it that we can maybe start getting people using it. But certainly 2027, 26, 27. Coming soon, but we, these things take time, especially if you are to compare with, to work on different studies and finding the resources to do it. And then what other things they're doing here? Gesture, oh yeah. Looking at the gestures and then bow classification accuracy, latency reduction. Latency, I think during the pandemic people have tried. There's something you can actually play with your friend at the same time. But then it's Jack Tripp, it's called Jack Tripp, and they signed it by some Stanford students, researchers. And the latency is but the latency is still, affected by the distance. Like if I'm playing something with somebody in Arizona, it's much better than from New York. So we want to. I don't know. The technology could keep improving, right? Obviously, reduce that. Different approach to gesture and stuff. Now, yeah, question.
I was just curious will the app track trends in a performer? To notice hey, your F sharp is always sharp.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. So actually, some of those apps they remember where you were last time. But again, they're based on what they have.
Sure. Because I know use of ChatGPT that we use in professional development, and if you view that we talked about is to find trends in student performance, is to have it analyze. You can input, students' essay writing, and they say you consistently use this grammar incorrectly. And I can see a similar case to say, as you were engaging to say, here's an AI-generated etude because we've noticed these trends in your posture that would address you working. You know what I mean?
I like that idea. Wow.
That'd be kind of interesting.
Wow. Yeah, based on that, design an etude. That's amazing. Wow, we need to collaborate.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can be able to kind of go into that screen, but
From here?
yeah.
Maybe, I wonder if you can just plug into your HD.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So let's see if we could do
Because it's just USB-C.
USB-C. Yeah. Do I have a USB-C here? Yeah, I think I do. Let's see if I can do that.
That works. It's good enough.
Maybe.
Is there
A different input. Is it HTML? Is it?
Are there any display settings?
Oh yeah, there must be.
Display, yeah. Is there I wonder if can you do it through like a AirPlay? Yeah. I wonder if this is that for.
Yeah, but right now it's HDMI 1, which is this thing.
Right.
So it should be right.
Yeah, we think that would.
Yeah, that would be helpful if I could do that, but it doesn't do Wi-Fi, I guess, right? Well, while we're doing that, any questions? Any other questions? Any worries there? Anybody worried that AI will take over your job?
What kind of technological fences would there be for, like, I have a very old iPad that I need to use instead of doing it?
Oh, like different kind of.
How will it adapt to older technology versus?
Oh yeah, actually that's what they're struggling right now. They were not as easy to work with Android versus Apple. But I don't know at the end which version, like of like MacBook or which yeah, but that would be something we definitely. That's a good project. Yeah, I think that must be some way that we have to do update all the time. That's no.
I don't know.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Ka-Wai, I was just gonna say, I think it's so interesting to be like in this time when this is developing.
Yeah.
Because to me, it kind of feels like how people might have thought of. Like I imagine somebody, if we could go back 50 years, and then we could show them this, like, oh, you could just like listen to all your music on this, and they would just have no frame of reference for like. That's the way technology is now.
Yeah.
I can just imagine like 20 years from now, 20 years from now, maybe that's the way this AI will be. Like, oh, you actually had to have a live accompanist with you to play your music, like, or you didn't have somebody that could analyze automatically. Like, I wonder even, for competitions like this, maybe there's some level of at some point. You be able to actually analyze things. Yeah, or just take some of the subjectivity out of it, some of the like human error. And say like, actually, this person was 98% in tune, and this person was 96% in tune. Who knows?
And they try to do that in sports, right? How many they heard that basketball, and how many.
And even tennis, the AI kind of thing.
Oh, I shouldn't stop this because I'm recording it. Okay, so do you guys want to hear like how we can try this cadenza app, for example? How it would sound like if I play with it. Let's just say, so it looks like this little thing, and then I could input different pieces. Let me just go back here. This one. I don't think it's, the other one has double bass. This one, I'm sorry. Because they're working on things and then, so some of them they're working on violin, and I got different pieces. And you just take it home. So let me just, let's just say if I do cello, upgrade is not divided by 4. So I click on it, and then it displays a score there. There are 2 ways I could do it. I could do practice versus live. So if I do practice mode, so if I click the live mode, I could update, this computer is supposed to adjust to my tempo. If I do practice mode, I can actually determine how fast the tempo is. And then it will be just steady. So let's just say This is practice. Let's see. The other practice. And the other minor. That's just one minute.
And this is the accompaniments.
This is just the yeah. This is the accompaniment. This is the accompaniments. Yeah. This is called the accompaniment.
Oh, that's Cadenza.
This is not my research, but this is part of the, I think this talk is not just about what I'm doing, but what way over there. Let's just say if I change the tempo.
What app is this that you're?
It's called Cadenza. Cadenza. So this is different tempo now. Let's see. So it's very slow.
So is this kind of like a more flexible, user-friendly, like MIDI generator, basically?
Yeah. So you basically the enter everything is already entered there, and then they kind of stretch it or not stretch it and stuff. So if I'm playing it, let's just say if I do live now, you guys may not be able to see the score, but I'll you kind of know how it sounds like. Maybe it won't be as easy to demonstrate here because I don't have a speaker, but hopefully you can hear some of it. Maybe now, I don't know. How are we doing time? Oh, 5 minutes. Oh, do you want to try?
Yeah.
So, so now I'm going to do the live. So maybe I'll start off the tempo and then I may change the tempo
And it
faster
should
or
like
slower.
follow you, is that the idea?
Yeah, the idea is supposed to follow me.
Wow.
So I don't know if you guys can hear it. You have to be pretty. I think this thing is too loud. Let's see if you can hear some of that. Just normal. Now see if I can speed up. Now slow down. So it does kind of, it's not perfect, it's in and out.
Sure.
But I think the MyPianist app, actually you can practice with it and it will get better knowing you. So it's not, so like if you do it more with them, they take a rubato and stuff. Yeah.
Do you think this kind of opens up, it reminds me of a conversation I had with a colleague of mine recently, but this opens up almost like an industrial revolution of sorts, in the sense that you, as a teacher for instance, you'll spend less time talking about intonation and able to talk about phrasing and maybe more advanced topics, in the same way that in the industrial revolution made, farming, you spent less time in the field and more time processing, and then the ability to have more refined things expanded. Do you feel like this is kind of the direction?
No, this is exactly what that positive part of it, because that's exactly the opposite of people when they worry that it's going to replace teaching.
Right.
It's because then actually your students can already work on this on their own. In fact, it actually worked really well for Suzuki teachers.
Sure.
When you have parents working with the students, and not all the parents, a lot of parents are very informed, but some of them may not have as much musical background.
Sure.
They could use an easy app to see, students, what's the mistakes and what can be improved easily. At least have a rough idea. So we are not, I don't think if you want to be exactly like this is a teaching master, maybe not yet, at least not my project main goal is, but it will certainly be part of that process.
As a follow-up, I'm curious, in the recording studio world right now, we're kind of in a place where a lot of studios are choosing to abandon click tracks and go back in time, essentially, to time. Because we've gotten so used to hearing things metronomic that now the trend is now to say, let's avoid that and let's let things breathe. do you kind of feel like there's a likelihood to have a trend where things swing backwards as well? Where
Instead
people
of-
say like, what if we like things to be a little out of tune, or you know what I mean? Do you see like any kind of
Yeah, so the fancy part of like the that will be that would be the
because then it
more
could be a
advanced.
choice, you know, to say like
Yeah.
nowadays like it wasn't a choice to be off a metronome in recording studio in the 60s because you didn't have click tracks, but now it's a choice to say do we want it on the click or not. And I can see the same to say, oh, interesting, like we could choose to be less metronome, we could choose to be less in tune, but it might be more informed.
Yeah.
Because you can see that you're not in tune, you know what I mean?
Right, right. And by the way, also when I was demonstrating, it was not with headphones and stuff. It's more effect. It would hear to me even more accurately if I play with headphones with the mic directly connected to. But absolutely, I think that would be anything that we can do with is in terms of performance and education, and that will. That's certainly the.
I try to be an optimist, you know, I like to think that I'll still be a teacher in the future.
Yes.
So I like to think more how that changes.
Yeah.
Well, to me, I mean, it's all positive. I mean, I feel like it's the same kind of thing as people back in the day feeling like, and yes, there are challenges. It's kind of like, you know, people who didn't want to record when recording technology was first available because they felt like, well, I'm going to lose control of music. And, you know, maybe there's a debate there, like we're still, we're still trying to contend with how do we deal with, you know, now the new models of streaming and how much artists receive and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like anybody would say, I wish we would go back to just not having recording technology or access to that, because it's like the benefits outweigh the challenges.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to be the same thing with AI. Just like when the camera came around and people thought, well, painting is going to go away. Because why would you paint something if you can take a perfect picture of it? It's like, well, there's a lot of reasons actually, you know, and it hasn't gone away. You know, it's just become a new tool.
Yeah. Well, and put it the other way is, if you don't use it, it will still be there. If you worry about it or not worry about it, it's going to be there. AI. So some people were like, well, maybe you should be proactive and actually face it. You know, this is reality. And make the best out of it. So, thank you. I think we are time. So, appreciate you guys. I think there's a survey. Is it on there? Oh yeah, scan the code. Scan the QR code. Please.
We did it.
It just asks you like in 1 minute, like, do you use AI or what's your information about? So we're getting a little bit of idea. If you don't mind, I'm going to take a quick selfie because I need to send to the grant that I did something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, I could just do a quick selfie or something. Like I can see most of you guys. Alright, cool. Alright.
Tell them it's AI generated.
Thank you all.
Tickets for the concert tonight. So
Oh, yes.
please, if you can stay, when I say tonight, I mean at
3 o'clock.
So if you can stay, please come get one because they've generously given us these. And board members, I'm going to give you a raffle so you can also generously give. Do you want me to?
Thank you. I don't know what's next now here.